Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
I figure when I'm trying to reach somebody and they're trying to not be reached, my philosophy is I'm going to make it more uncomfortable to not be reached than to pick up. That's kind of my philosophy, but I'm kind of a persistent sort.
This is the plaintiff, Destiny Hood. She said the defendant, her father, borrowed her car and then returned it damaged without even telling her. That's right. She discovered the damage on her own, and her own father refuses to take responsibility and pay her the $1,000.89 he owes. So father or no father, she's suing. This is the defendant, Timothy Hood. He says he got a flat tire while he had his daughter's car, and he went out and bought her 2 practically new ones. Now she's coming after her own father, claiming he hit something and messed up the front end somehow. He did no such thing, and won't be taken advantage of by his daughter, because he's a good man with a good heart. He's accused of retiring from a daughter over a tire.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you. Destiny Hood?
Yes.
You are suing your father, Timothy Hood, for $1,000.89 that you say it's going, part of that, what it's going to take to repair your car that you say you damaged, and then $400 of that for pain and suffering. Tell me what's going on.
Basically, I allowed my father to borrow my car while I was in Florida.
Did you allow anybody else to borrow the car?
Yes.
Okay. Who did you allow to borrow the car?
My boyfriend.
And who else?
Just my father. That's it.
Okay. Is your boyfriend here?
No.
Okay. And how long were you in Florida?
For 2 weeks for training for a new job.
Okay. And what happened?
My boyfriend had it for about a week. He brought it back. My mom said everything was fine. My dad came and got it about 3 days before I came back. I returned back on the 27th of February. So he had it from the 24th to the 27th. And when I came back home, well, I called him the day before I was to come back, which was that Thursday, the 26th. I called him. I said, Dad, make sure you have my car back because the 28th is my birthday, and I want to go out as soon as I get back in town, the 27th. So he said, okay, sure, no problem. I took it to go get gas. You have a full tank. Everything is washed, and everything is pretty much fine. He didn't mention anything about the tire. He brought my car back. He called me on I went out, didn't notice the donut on my car.
What do you mean by a donut? You mean the smaller spare tire?
Yes, the smaller spare tire.
Okay, how do you not notice that?
I don't know. I had went out. It was late, dark.
It was my birthday.
Yes.
All right. So when you see that there's a donut on your car, what do you do?
I call him, and he didn't answer. And I'm like blowing his phone up. He didn't answer. I know that he was at a funeral that day, so I didn't try to call him too much.
A funeral for whom?
My uncle's grandmother had passed away.
Okay, and when you say, how do you say in the same sentence, I blew up his phone, but I didn't call him too much?
Well, I did. I called him about 5 times that day. Probably.
Okay. As a fellow cycle caller, I don't consider that too much. Go on.
He didn't answer none of my phone.
I figure when I'm trying to reach somebody and they're trying to not be reached, my philosophy is I'm going to make it more uncomfortable to not be reached than to pick up. That's kind of my philosophy, but I'm kind of a persistent sort. So go ahead.
So I called him. He didn't answer. I called my uncle who was with him. I said, is my dad okay? You know, I wanted to talk to him. He said, yeah, he's right here. I said, well, I'm calling him. And I had mentioned it to my uncle about the tire where he didn't want to get involved. So he didn't mention it to my dad at all. He said, well, you know, that's between you guys. You contact him and call him. So I said, okay.
You didn't tell him, just hand him your phone?
No. He didn't want to get involved. He said, I have nothing to do with
Even
this.
to hand the phone?
No.
Wow, okay.
So after that, my dad got back to me about 24 hours later that Sunday. He's like, first thing he says, I said, Dad, why does my car have a donut? He said, well, you didn't ask me if I was okay. And I said, what do you mean? I know you're okay. You were at the funeral the day before. I knew you were okay. So he said, I said, you know, it's kind of messed up that you did this to my car. You know, I always help you out when you need it. And for you to leave my car in a donut like this.
Wait, what did he say what did he say?
He didn't say anything. I said, well, you know, did you get into an accident? He said, it wasn't no accident. And I'm
okay, why was there a donut on her car? Why was the spare tire on her car?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Your Honor. That watch the show. Appreciate you. All right, it's my daughter. I care about her. I love her. During the time I had her car, right, because I had it last, I believe, it was a blowout. All right.
There was a blowout while you were driving?
Yeah, I think so. Flat tire or something like that.
But while you were driving?
While I was driving.
Okay, did you hit something?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I checked that area over and over again.
Okay, because according to you, the mechanic says something got hit.
Yes, I have pictures.
Let me see the pictures, but let me also see the mechanic's report. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I checked that area over and over again.
No, the question isn't is something visible. The question is, did you hit something that caused... I've had flat tires where I walk out to the car and the tire's flat. I've had flat tires that I know darn well how the tire got flat because I remember hitting something.
Right.
Okay. Which of those did you have?
I know when I was driving it, it wasn't no damage. It was just a flat tire.
Yeah, but you can't see underneath. Oh, gosh, what's that, though? What's this a picture of?
Yeah.
That's the picture of my tire that was in the trunk of my car with the rim.
The rim is bent, so clearly something was hit with this tire. Is this a tire that was on when you got the flat tire?
I think so.
Yeah, so how is it?
But I drove like approximately 50 yards. Okay, out of the way, because I was on...
I don't know how that answers what I'm asking. What I'm asking is this rim is severely bent, which means you hit something. So how do you not know you hit something? This is your daughter we're talking about.
I know that. And in return, but it must I say, in return, right, I also bought 2 new tires.
Okay, if you bought 2 new tires, where are they if the donut's on the car?
I gave it to her mother to give to her.
How does your mother not, when you go pick it up, do you not see your mother?
That's what I'm saying.
If you see her, how does she not tell you, hey, here's 2 tires and point to them?
He didn't give them to my mom the day that he returned the car. He gave them to my mom after I complained about my car.
Okay, when did you buy 2 new tires?
I bought 2 new tires probably because I look for the tires, which is a hard number.
Just listen to my question. Is what she just said right now true?
Probably
that you bought 2 new tires later.
Probably about the next 24 hours, yeah.
So you didn't then, when you returned the car, give the mother 2 new tires and explain what happened?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I did explain what happened. Of course I did.
I'd like to see the receipt for the tires.
All right, yeah.
Had you bought the tires when you returned the car to the mother?
They didn't have the tires.
So the answer is no.
They didn't have those tires.
So when you returned the car, it had a donut on it, and you still don't explain anything directly to your daughter. Then you buy the tires later, all right? And then what is this receipt from the tires that he bought later?
No, that's where I got my car fixed from.
Okay, and what did they do?
They, well, when I took them the car, that's how the tire looked. They had to replace the tire. And he didn't have a blowout because the tire wasn't popped at all.
What tire did they have to replace?
The driver's rear side.
Is that where the donut was?
Yes.
So did he bring tires?
No, my old tire was in the trunk of my car. The donut was on my car.
Did he ever get you 2 new tires like he said he did?
He dropped them off at my mom's job maybe a few days after my car was already.
And what happened to those 2 tires?
He gave them to my mom. They're in the back.
Yes, and where are they now?
In the back of my house.
They're in the back of your house. You never used those.
And they're not 2 new tires. They were used tires. And I have a brand new car, and I don't want used tires on my car.
Okay, so he brought you some, save him money tires, and they're not good for you, so you didn't use them.
One was new tire exactly for that car, guy.
Can I see the receipt for the new tire you bought?
I just gave it to him, right there. You can call up the place I got it from, too.
Are they the right tires?
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah,
apparently she didn't think they were the right tires.
Of course. I'm dealing with cars most of the time.
But if you're, can I ask you a question? How old are you?
21.
Who goes to court over $600 and something with their daughter?
And, Your Honor, can I say something?
Yeah, can you answer what I just asked?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You're working, right?
Basically, no. I'm on disability. I had a car accident head-on collision with a tractor trailer 12 years ago, so I had a broken neck. I'm fortunate to be here, and this is real heartbreaking enough.
Well, you look really good. And
Thank
my
you.
question to you is,
God.
who comes to court over $600 of a repair with their daughter's car that they know got damaged while they were driving it? Who does that?
Your Honor.
Take those 2 tires, return them, get your $85 back, and cover your daughter's damage that you did to the car.
Your Honor.
What is it that you think that you didn't do that damage and she's framing her father?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Okay, suppose your dad screws you over, borrows your car, damages it, won't pay for the damage. Would you sue your dad?
No, I would not.
If he has no regard for you and isn't paying you?
Maybe.
Progress. What do you think?
I think I would. Well, he has to learn. I'm stuck with the damages, so he has to pay for it.
Ever sue your dad?
I would not.
No matter what?
No matter what.
Even if he disrespected you?
I know. No, I wouldn't.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
I didn't do the damage, Your Honor, right? She's saying that when she took the car, I don't know, about a week later, I'm guessing, because it wasn't no communication, right? It was a lot of disrespect.
Blowing up your phone at the funeral.
Your Honor, trust me, it was a lot of disrespect. My mother was in a hospital at this time, right? She totally disrespected me and my mother. All right,
How?
while my mother was in the bed, I walked into the room. Destiny was already there. And Destiny, out of the clip, I think I was there about a minute. And Destiny said, "Oh, you got in an accident with my car. When are you going to pay for it? You owe me $750."
You understand that the mechanic who she saw says that he found shock and mounting bracket was cracked and broken.
Mm-hmm.
You hit something. You ran over something. You hit something. You did something to the tire. Why should your daughter eat it?
But I'm saying, Your Honor, that could have already been there. I also talked to other mechanics, too.
It could have. It's your daughter. I hear that stuff when it's a
All
stranger.
right.
That thing was already damaged because you're trying to keep the money in your pocket. Who does that to their daughter?
I didn't do
God,
that to
just
my
stop.
daughter.
You don't get pain and suffering in a case like this. Pay her $621.89. That's my verdict.
So the defendant's out into the hallway here. Step right here. You hear what the judge is saying to her. She's saying, you know.
Fortunately, I'm surprised, right? That's my daughter. I care about her. I even bought her first car when she graduated, and she totally destroyed that, right? I get no respect at all.
So what are your feelings toward her?
I'm hurt. I'm hurt deeply. That will always be my child, and I'll always be there for her, and I always love her. And even my family and even the other children said that this was wrong.
All right, okay. All right, down the hallway there. Step up a little bit. You watched him just now?
Yes, I did.
What did you just see?
Excuses. You know, I just feel like he should just pay for what he did. You know, I went through a lot. At the end of the day, this is my father, but it's just not fair to anyone.
The man's in tears out here.
Yes, he's always in tears.
That doesn't move you?
No.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, Kurt, I'm trying not to play psychologist here, but it sounds like this is basically the rhythm of their relationship, that no matter what anybody says, it's going to go on this way forever. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency repair, or a dream project, Angie lets you compare quotes from multiple local pros, browse homeowner reviews, and even book a service instantly. Angie's been connecting people with skilled pros for nearly 30 years. So the next time you have a home project, bring it to Angie to get your job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This is the plaintiff, Diane Storniola. She says the defendant is her former landlord, and he's nothing but a loudmouth who's trying to steal her security deposit. The louse has put her in a bad position. She needs her money to pay rent on her new place, and she wants her $4,439.84, and she wants it now. This is the defendant, Tom Flores. He says he met the plaintiff at a bar and decided to help her out by renting a cottage he owns. The woman eventually moved out without the required 30-day notice, damaged his once pristine cottage by smoking the place out with cigarettes, candles, and barbecuing. And he had to make a lot of repairs to rent it out again. Oh, her money? Good one. He's accused of lousy landlording. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,270.34 for additional repairs.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says her landlord is trying to steal her security, and he's a loudmouth to boot. But the defendant says she bailed prematurely and damaged the place with a barbecue. It's the case of ready to get grilled.
Ms. Diane Storniola?
Yes.
You are suing Tom Flores?
Yes.
For $4,439.84 that you say your former landlord owes you and refuses to pay. You are counterclaiming against her $1,270.34 that you claim she still owes even when you keep the security deposit. What happened?
Okay, I moved into the place August 15th of 2013. I have 2 German Shepherds, so it's very hard to find a place to live. I knew Tom from the restaurant, from the bar. I'm a waitress bartender. I knew his children. So one of the girls, I was working with the realtor, and she said, you know, Tom's place is for rent. I'm not sure if he'll allow dogs. So I went over and I spoke to him, and he said, oh, I really didn't want a dog. The tenant now has a dog, but I didn't know it was you. Sure, you know, I know your dogs and everything. So the tenant was still living there, so I peeked in the window. I was desperate. I needed a place to, you know, I left my boyfriend.
Okay, so you rent the place,
yes,
and you sign a 1-year lease, and everything works fine for that first year.
Yes, well, you know, there was a few things, like just what kind of character he is. You know, I moved in, I painted the bedroom and the living room, because when I move in, you like fresh paint. In the backyard, there were weeds, like 5 feet thing, and I said, Tom goes, oh no, we're going to clean them up, we're going to clean them. Never did it. I hired somebody, cleaned up the weeds. You know, I like to sit out there with my dogs, his ticks, and I said, Tom, would you at least split it with me? Which he did. He gave me $100 for the weeds. I lived there for a year. In August, my lease was up, and he said to me, Diane, you need to re-sign the lease. I said, you know what, Tom? You know, in the winter, the pipes would freeze. I had no shower for, the first year was 3 days. This year, 5 days, I had no shower. I told him I was moving out April, was it April? No, I'm sorry, March 11th, I said I was moving.
And you moved out when?
Well, what happened was the deal fell through. So I told him on April 3rd, I said, Tom, I'm sorry, the deal fell through. Can I please stay? And he said, Diane, I signed up with a realtor. I don't know, let me call the realtor. This is a big problem for me. I said, Tom, I'm sorry. See what you can do. The deal fell through. Never heard from him again, never said anything. So I continued to stay there. Okay. Then it was 3 weeks later, I got my old place back. I told him, I go, Tom, the 20th, my rent is due on the 15th. I said, technically, the 20th would be 1 month's notice. So if you want, I'll stay to the 20th, or I could be out by the 15th.
Okay, I'm sorry. When did you get your old place back?
The 15th.
Of what?
Of March. No, April.
April. So last he knew, the deal had fallen through.
Correct.
Then you tell him, I got my old place.
Correct.
And do you give him another 30 days notice?
Yes, I did.
So you moved out or you're paid up till May 15th?
Correct.
Okay, so you paid another month's rent even though your lease had first, last, and security.
Well, Your Honor, he called me up 3 days before the rent was due, and he goes, Dan, I just want verbatim. We're on the same page. You're still going to give me this month's rent? I said, yes, Tom. I'm going to give you this month's rent. Yeah. So I gave him this month's rent.
Right, because I think because you didn't, I don't know if you knew at that point that you were getting the apartment, did you?
Yes, this was the second apartment, my old apartment I used to live at. And I said, Tom, I'm getting my old place back. I was so happy.
All right, so you realized that you shouldn't have done that because in your lease you had already paid first, last, and security. And at this point, when you paid the rent, you had already told him, I'm moving?
Yes.
To the second place?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
So according to you, what date did you give him notice that you're moving to the second place?
I gave him notice on...
It's raining papers all around you. What's going on?
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Take a deep breath.
I gave him a month's notice, and I said...
No, I don't want to hear conclusions. I want to know exactly when you told him, I'm getting my old place back.
That was on April 13th. April 13th.
Okay, and then you paid rent from April 13th through
I paid him the rent on the 15th, Your Honor.
On the 15th. All right.
Yes.
May I see the lease?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, and according to you, you paid from April 15th through May 15th.
Correct.
Correct? Now, I know there's a notice issue for you, and I'll get into that in a moment. What I want to know is, did she in fact pay rent from April 15th through May 15th?
No, Your Honor.
She didn't,
I have that in the last month's rent security, but there was no transaction where she came on the...
On April 15th or April 13th, did she pay rent?
No, ma'am, she left on that date.
Okay, that's not a problem. If you paid it, you'll be able to prove it. Prove that you paid the rent.
I paid him cash.
Yeah, but that's fine. You can pay cash. You just have to have a receipt.
He doesn't give me a receipt.
I don't care that he doesn't give it to you. Then you don't give him the cash. You tell him, take the crayon and the toilet paper and write me a receipt if you want the cash I got here.
Ma'am,
that's how you do it. The cash doesn't leave this hand without a receipt coming into this hand.
I know. I paid him cash for the year and a half I lived there.
Did she pay you cash on April 13th?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor. She left on she was gone on the 17th of April. If I understand what she just said, Your Honor, she states that she paid me on April 14th for another month, but then left on the 17th of April?
No, she claims she didn't leave on this. Do you claim you left on the 17th of April?
I left on the 15th.
So you paid rent and left?
No. I paid the previous month.
No one's asking you about that. Yeah. I'm asking you, if you left on April 15th, how did you pay April 15th through May 15th?
No, we're confused here, ma'am.
We are.
No, ma'am. Your Honor, I left on, Dan, help me out here. I moved into my new place. Just give me 1 second.
Go ahead, take all the time you need.
I moved into the new place on April 15th.
April what?
Right?
April 15th.
I paid Mr. Flores rent on March 15th.
He's not denying that.
Pictures dated the 17th of April when...
All my stuff wasn't out.
Well, then you didn't move out on the 15th.
Dan, you know, I had a chair in the backyard.
Show me your pictures dated the 17th.
Can I show you my pictures?
Yes, please.
Okay.
This is Diane and this gentleman friend, Dan, on the...
The 17th, I gave him the key back on the 17th, ma'am.
If you leave on April 17th, you got to do what you got to do. You got to own up to responsibilities.
Okay.
And if you leave on April 17th, what the law says, if you spend 1 day there more than you were supposed to, then you owe that month's rent. You didn't leave on time. And if you leave your stuff there and you're still moving stuff out on the 17th and you're handing the key to him on the 17th, there's a consequence to being late. So he's right.
I was
and now, this is not, you had told me all along that you had paid April 13th to May 15th, but you didn't. What you paid was March, right? You're clear on that.
For the month that I was...
No, you paid March for March to April. You never handed cash to him for April to May. Correct?
I was moved out already.
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay. So wait. Yes. I need you to leave here understanding that the indignancy that you felt that he was lying about receiving cash, that indignancy is misplaced because that never happened. You were saying that you had paid cash April 15th.
Yes.
You are now changing that and explaining that you paid cash March 15th, right? You never paid cash again on April 15th because you were leaving.
Okay.
Right. So you paid March to April, and he acknowledges that.
Yes.
What he's saying is that because you didn't leave till the 17th, he is entitled to that month. And as goofy as you may think that is, judging by the facial expressions that you're giving, he is correct. That is the law.
But may I say something, Your Honor?
You can say whatever you want.
I was out of that house on the 15th. I went back to give him the key, okay? And I had the air conditioner in the shed in the backyard. We went together so he would give me the check. I gave him 2 months security, Your Honor. I gave him $3,500.
No, you didn't. Read your lease. You gave him last month in security, and it doesn't even matter because whether you call no, it doesn't. You think it legally matters, and it doesn't because you could call it 2 months security, or you could call it last month in security, and it doesn't matter. The only thing the judge does is take note of the math and then figure it out from there. Okay, stop talking.
Okay, who takes advantage of who more, landlords or tenants?
Landlord.
Why do you say? Because you're a tenant?
Well, you just, as a landlord, you have to prepare for everything. And I think it's fair for the tenant.
Okay, what do you think?
Tenants.
Tenants take advantage more.
Yes.
Because?
Because I don't think they have ownership in it, and I think they can do what they want, and the landlords get stuck with the results.
Fair enough. 2 points of view going inside the courtroom.
Okay, now after she leaves, you walk through it. What's the problem?
Oh, I immediately noticed soot and smoke on the walls, ceilings, windows, light fixtures, outlets, anything that was plastic. It was really sooted up.
From smoking?
No, Your Honor, I believe it was related to some sort of a fire. I don't know whether or not it was something that happened on the barbecue. Diane could answer that. Based upon the photographs I have, Your Honor, and
May I see the photographs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is this picture depicting? I mean,
that's a picture of the blinds in the living room, Your Honor, and you can see where the tab is pulled up, and you can see the white of what it should look like versus the other side, which was unprotected or uncovered and subjected to this smoke and soot.
You knew she was a smoker, right?
Well, it was a no-smoking cottage. She took that with that understanding.
Does the lease say no smoking?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
No, it does not, and I didn't smoke in the cottage, so it does not say.
I crossed off a lot of things on the lease just to expedite it.
What is this supposed to show me?
Just the side of the refrigerator. The guys pulled the refrigerator out, and then I said, just make an X. So
I see what you're talking about, that there are, it's dingy. I guess that's probably the best, put your hand down. That's the best way to say it, is that it's incredibly dingy. But why would that entitle you to anything more than painting? I don't see how it would. I just don't see how it would.
Your Honor, I have pictures of the outlets, and it's an insidious soot that gets in. It fouls.
I don't rent to a smoker then.
I don't think it was smoke from a cigarette, Your Honor.
You have pictures of outlets that'll show me an insidious soot?
Room.
Show me the picture of the outlet that'll show me 31 outlets and insidious soot.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I also have the walls painted, Your Honor, which really does show a big difference.
There is a lot of. Did you burn a lot of candles?
No, ma'am.
Did you burn a lot of candles? Yes or no? There's a lot.
3 months after I moved in. You need to let me say this, please.
No, I'm not, because I think that you have to do.
There was black soot.
Okay, we're done. I am going to order the defendant to return $1,500 of the deposit. I find that based on the testimony that you're entitled to keep the month's rent, and that you're entitled to deduct $250 for cleaning in between tenants and or painting, but not the amount that you are claiming. So I'm ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiff $1,500. That is my verdict.
Hold on right there, please.
And so the plaintiff collects $1,500. Come on in here. Your feeling on how this is finally finished up?
Well, I'm glad it's over. I think the judge has made her decision, and that's what we go with. That's how it rolls. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad it's done, and I hope Diane is a happier person now.
That's good. You looked like you maybe tried to milk it a little bit.
It's tough to display what was in the building on a picture. So milking something, no.
Well, you thought there was a fire in there, right?
If it was an insurance claim and I had an insurance policy, they would have paid more than.
You thought there was a fire, right?
Yeah,
some kind of fire. You never said anything about a smell, no fire smell. You never mentioned the word smell once. That's funny, because fires usually smell.
I believe it happened about 2 months after Diane initially moved in.
Okay, that's when it happened. Okay, head right around this way. All right, so step on in here and, okay, what's going through your mind here?
No, I'm not happy because he ripped me off. He ripped me off for $3,500.
Well, you got something back. You got something back at least.
It's not right.
Where'd this soot all of a sudden show up from?
When I moved into the house, 3 months, I painted it. 3 months later, I said, Tom, white by the radiators, electrocuted, it was all black. Come up the walls, he goes, oh, I don't know, I'll take care of it. Never took care of it.
Listen, when you give cash, get a receipt, no matter what.
I know.
Yeah, all that stuff, right?
I know.
You know. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, word to the wise. We have so many of these cases where somebody says, I gave 30 days notice, notices. You didn't give 30 days notice. You have to document this very well with an email, with something where there's a clear date stamp, where there is an acknowledgement. It is the only way to protect yourself. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Carmen Vergara. She says she met the defendant at her church and they became close friends. She ended up laying out and loaning money to him to attend a funeral in North Carolina, and she's having one heck of a time getting him to pay her back. As it turns out, he's not a friend at all. She's owed $1,159.79, and that's why she's suing here today. This is the defendant, Reginald Edwards. He says the plaintiff was the one who voluntarily offered to help him to attend a funeral, and she voluntarily paid for it. He never asked to borrow any money, and they certainly never had a conversation about him paying her back. She took on the male role in the relationship, and since she was offering to pay for everything, who's he to say no? Owe her now after the fact? No way. He's accused of taking advantage of a woman's kindness.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff loaned money to her friend, the defendant, to go to a funeral in North Carolina and didn't get the money back. But the defendant says it was a gift. It's the case of funeral stiff.
Okay, Carmen Vergara, you are suing Reginald Edwards for $1,159.79 that you say he owes you for all this money that you outlaid on 2 different trips. Tell me what happened.
Well, actually, I was a member at the Church of Broken Pieces back where we resided at. 15 years ago, I know him for 15 years. And then recently we started communicating on Facebook, and eventually I heard he has cancer. He was a cancer survivor, so that touched my heart, and I just wanted to invite him out. So I took him out to Sight and Sounds to see a show out there and to eat, to Red Lobster and so on. But when we was driving back, he learned that his aunt had passed away, and then his cousin had passed away back to back, you know, eventually during that week. And I felt, you know, extremely sad and empathy for him, and I said, I have a credit card that is free of interest that I just received for $1,500 that I could, you know, go with you and pay for the trip, you know, help you pay for the trip and everything. He said, well, I don't have no money until I could pay you something. He said something back when I get my check on the 3rd of March. And I said, that's fine. And we went, first of all, his cousin. How
much was he supposed to pay you back?
He didn't say. He said something.
No, nobody had a plan?
No. He just said something.
Well, what do you think something was going to be?
I didn't know.
$2.40? Like,
I didn't know.
Like, there's hold on one second. There's no agreement between you guys about how much he's going to pay, if you're going to pay anything, if he's going to pay part of it, like nothing? No discussion?
No, he just said he's going to give me something towards the trip. That's all he said.
All right.
And actually, we were supposed to stay at one of his cousin's house out there in North Carolina, and his cousin, at the last minute, she said there was no room for us, so then I had to rent a room for 2 nights with 2 beds, so that cost me additional money that I wasn't.
And you two were not romantic, right?
No, not at the moment.
Well, not at the moment. Was there some other moment you were romantic?
Well, yes.
Oh! Yeah. I didn't realize that.
It was something was starting to flow there. However, I backed up right away when I learned what kind of man he is. You know, I got to pay for gas.
What did you learn?
I have to pay for gas. I have to pay for food. I have to pay for everything, tolls, food, everything. So why should I have a man like that? My mother didn't raise me like that.
Okay.
You know, a man should, you know, stand up and be a man.
Okay.
And pay.
Or at least
open the door
stand
for
up, be a man, and pay half of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Amen. That's what
All right.
Yes.
So according to you, he's supposed to pay you when he gets his check, and that was going to be on March 3rd?
Yes.
Because this was February.
He said, give me
something. And did March 3rd come and go?
Yes, it came and go. Actually,
and he did not pay anything?
No, and nothing at all. He said he had 2 months of rent that he had to pay, plus oil that he could not give me no money at all.
All right. And then you asked him to take you to Massachusetts.
Yes. I was hoping he he could help me, like I helped him, he could at least take me, because I try to go every year to see my uncle that's there at the nursing home, and he was the 81st birthday. I tried to go there like April 9th every year, and I was hoping he'd take me there. He said yes, he would take me.
Okay.
However, one time he was pumping gas that I paid for, of course, and he noticed that one tire was messed up in the back. He said, I hope he makes it to Massachusetts like that. He made that comment. And I said, well, if you're going to take me to Massachusetts, I will buy the tires, So I bought him 2 tires.
Was he supposed to pay you back for the tires?
No, not at all.
The tires were.
If he take me to Massachusetts,
that was your gift.
Pay me, no.
Wow, but you're already in the hole for all the other stuff. So
I wasn't thinking he wasn't not going to pay me at all, because the month went so quickly. I figured I was going to receive something from him, but eventually he figured he's not going to give me anything at all.
So what happened? It's time to go to Massachusetts.
Yes, and then he specifically told me that at 10 o'clock I need to be ready.
10 o'clock in the morning?
In the morning.
Okay.
And, sometimes I can't sleep at night.
Okay, so were you ready at 10?
No, I wasn't ready. At 8 o'clock, I texted him. I said, I couldn't get no sleep. I need to get some sleep, and I need my Emitrix. I need to get some sleep. And then he said, if you're not ready by 11 o'clock, we was texting back and forth. He said, well, I can't drive I fall asleep. I can't drive with traffic, going to New York, Connecticut. I have
let me see the text.
Not text, ma'am, voicemail.
Oh, voicemail. Okay, so I'll hear those in a second. Go ahead.
Yes, that he, I'm not going, my life is at risk. I might fall asleep on the road. And, I'm not going to be stuck going through New York and Connecticut and driving all that through traffic and all that excuses. He had sent me a Facebook text that he said, I got news for you. And he didn't tell me what was the news right before the trip. So I guess that was it. That he wasn't going to take me.
Because you're explaining to me that there was a plan to leave at 10 and that you were the one who was breaking the plan to leave at 10.
Yes.
So,
but originally, before he sent me on Facebook that he had news for me, and then he called me before that, and we spoke. And he said, "What I'm supposed to do when I'm out there?" And I'm like, "Do the same thing I did in North Carolina: stay in the room in the hotel and watch TV or do something, on a tablet or something, in other words, putting excuses, and then I guess that was the news that he had for me, because he gave me
So when he tells you, how do you find out he's not going to take you to? Did you talk in person but through the messages?
It was text messages. And
What's your side of the story?
Your Honor, I never asked the plaintiff about any money to go to North Carolina.
But why would she have to pay? Why wouldn't you pay? It was your relatives that you were going down there to.
I had money, Your Honor.
Then why didn't you pay?
I paid some of my way.
Why did she?
She's the one who offered to go and pay and get a room, Your Honor.
But here's what I don't understand. Why do you allow it?
Why I allow it? Because she offered.
Okay, so asked you a few minutes ago about who takes advantage of who, landlords or tenants, right? Now, in the money department, who takes advantage of who more, men or women? What do you think?
I think woman.
Why do you say? Because you're a man? Why?
Yeah, I'm a gentleman. Yeah.
Oh, a gentle. Okay. Who takes advantage of who more? What do you think?
I think women do.
How so?
Just because they are the ones that
manipulate. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and then know that the gentleman will take care of the bill or whatever it is.
Okay, what do you say?
Women.
We all. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're all agreeing on this.
Oh, the whole group.
Oh, you're so devious, you guys. Going inside the courtroom.
According to her, you told her you were going to give her some money on March 3rd. True or not true?
That's not true, Your Honor.
Because you were never going to give her any money ever?
Only I was asked by my pastor to sell the things and start giving her something. And
did you listen to your pastor?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Okay.
Because I didn't think I was obligated to do that.
All right, so let's talk about Massachusetts. So then there's a plan. She wants to go in April, and you agree that you're going to take her in April to Massachusetts so that she can visit her uncle, who's in a nursing home and turning 81. And you say yes, and then what happens that day?
Well, she called me and said that she didn't sleep and that she needed a little more time to get herself together. And I made a statement that if she would have went to bed, we could have went. And then later on, we bickering back and forth with texts that I have on. I have my texts.
Let me see the texts, and let me hear the messages.
I'm calling
calling you, trying to find out if you're still going. I'm not going in late afternoon through all that traffic. Calls that I made to you today is being recorded. And I can prove to anyone in court that I did not breach my contract with you. The tires you gave me was a gift from your heart. And you're trying to bully me into taking you because of the tires. But I refuse to be bullied.
I've heard enough. I've read through all the texting back and forth. It doesn't seem very Christian to me, neither one of you. In fact, that's what you keep accusing each other of, not being very Christian while you're, I guess, not being very Christian. Even your pastor told you should be giving her something. And you walk in here and you say, I owe her nothing. I don't believe that it's accurate that you were never supposed to pay something. I think it's reckless to not know what something is. Because then how do you figure what you're going to be asking for here today? The amounts you're asking for, those are the total amounts. And so now all of a sudden he's paying 100%. So your deal is better now that you sue him than it was when you struck it that night. That's not going to happen. Then this whole deal with Massachusetts, if you're supposed to leave at a certain time and you didn't, he's arguing, well, she breached, I didn't. I think you're right, he was itching to not go because he didn't want to go. But I also believe that changing, everything on him is not like, you're not guiltless in the Massachusetts trip not going through either. Of course, a couple of hours, what's the big deal when you're going to Massachusetts? I don't get it. So I'm going to do a little rough justice here and try to figure out a figure that I think is appropriate. So I am ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiff for half of all the expenses. $580 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Good luck.
God bless you. Have a good day. You too.
All right, both sides.
And so he'll be paying half. Step on out here, 50-50. How does that go down with you?
That don't go sit well with me because the plaintiff offered the things that she gave me because of our commitment to each other and our friendship. And I think that if I was in the same position and I was able to treat her, I would. You don't offer somebody a gift and then you look for something back in return.
Are you two still seeing each other around?
No, I'm trying to stay away from her.
So you're at the church?
We don't go to the same church
anymore. Okay, head around the corner this way. All right, step on in here and all right, you didn't get everything you sued for, but it gets split down the middle. How about that?
That's fine. I'm grateful. I thank God. I just, don't trust man, trust and believe in the Lord that he never fails, This guy, he proved what he is, he's just not worth anything, not worth no one's time. He's not a Christian, that's for sure. He's not showing his Christianity.
Harvey?
Judges in small claims court do rough justice, but when you get into higher amounts with bigger courts, you can't have loosey-goosey agreements. You'll end up with nothing.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.